Hi, friend.
Hi, friend. Are you ready?
Ready for what?
To level up.
Okay, girl, let's get started. Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of Level Up with Raman and Alysha.
I don't know why she said that so slowly, but welcome to another episode of our Brown Girl Month, where we are talking all brown people, women, girl, everything. So on today's episode, we are going to be talking about brown stereotypes or South Indian stereotypes that, might apply to most of us.
Yeah. Okay. If you grew up in if you grew up in Brampton, then the stereotypes are definitely true.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. If you're brown and you walk around in other cultures, you've heard different things. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, they smell like curry. Mm-hmm. They're cheap. They bargain a lot.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of different types of stereotypes, in every culture. 100%. I don't think it's just in our brown community. I think every culture has their own stereotype. But, today we're specifically going to be talking about the brown stereotypes, which I'll admit.
Brown Girl Month.
Yeah. Which some are true and some are not. So, yes, we hear brown people are cheap, We hear this all the time. And I have to say, not this stereotype is I'm going to say 50% true. Yeah, because I think it depends on the people, It's like some people don't have a choice to be cheap, right? They don't have the luxury to be spending a lot of money, whereas others do still have the money, but then they are still being cheap and they are still kind of, watching their pocket. So my brother yesterday had a terrible experience, and I feel so bad for him. So he is in the HVAC industry, which is a service industry, and he does have to go out and do service calls.
Right.
So every service call cost $80 because he's not going to just fucking come to your house because,
gas is expensive.
And just, basically check what's wrong with, your heater or cooler just for free. So he does let people know in the phone, because, at the beginning he had this problem where people would not pay and stuff like that. So then I told him you have to tell people before you even get there. So now he tells people. Yesterday, poor guy, he had such a bad day.
Oh, no.
And I really, really feel for him. So now Sister Karen and I are brainstorming what we can do to help. But, this guy refused to pay because he thought he was going to scam him. And he's like, why would I scam you? And stuff like that. Why would I scam you for $80? He's like, me building a relationship and having a returning customer has so much more value than trying to scam you out of $80,
100%.
I'm going to make more money with you being a loyal customer to me, right? Basically, this guy, long story short, didn't end up paying him. Yeah, but my brother, he was so upset yesterday that he was like, this only happens with our Indian people, and specifically Punjabi people.
I believe that.
He was like, it doesn't happen with any other community. He's like, it's only the fucking, I felt so bad for him, because I'm like, yeah, it's true. Why can't our fucking Indian people just... And, when you do own a business, you do get more understanding that people have their cost. They need to make their money. This is what they do for a living. This is not a side hustle.
This is their livelihood.
This is their livelihood. He's spending hours to come to your place, go find a thing for you, it's so I felt really bad. And honestly, he was so frustrated yesterday that he was like, I will take a service call from anybody, but if it's an Indian person, so me and Sister Karen are trying to figure out some sort of pre-authorization or something, so in case so he has a method of payment before he even gets there. Oh, I don't have the money right. He has heard all the excuses. I don't have the money right now, or, oh yeah, I'll e-transfer it later. And then yesterday he got pissed because he's like, people who are going to e-transfer later don't make this big of a fuss right now. They don't make a fuss about payment. They make the payment.
It's true.
They don't make excuses. So he got so frustrated that he was like, I'm literally going to take an order from anybody as long as they're not Indian. So I felt really bad for him because then it puts our people to shame.
It really does. And you know what, Raman? That's so unfortunate that happened to him.
It was so sad,
it's really
man. I felt
annoying
really bad.
because he has a son and a family to feed. Yeah. So it's really unfortunate, especially during hard times like COVID. Mm-hmm. We're still going through a mid-pandemic, and it's so unfair to do that to somebody who came out to help you, and you're refusing to pay them.
And someone who told you, this is the fee for me to come out and diagnose your issue.
That's very upsetting. So, And it's so unfortunate because it does give the rest of us a bad name. So I'll be very honest. I was really cheap growing up. And I think it might have been the mentality of just like my grandma being passed on.
Yeah.
And it was just like that Indian mentality. As we started wedding planning business, that's when I learned that no, there's a difference here of providing a service and paying it full. So I'll be very honest, that's where I learned it. Was when we worked our asses off for labor and not even got a thank you.
Yeah. So remember that wedding that we did and they acknowledged all the vendors except us?
That was so tight.
Rude. That was so rude.
Yeah, that was really tight. So I then taught my family, no, you can't be this way when people come, a construction worker or anything. Then the second time that I've encouraged it and understood it is when Ahmed has brought in these hourly students that came straight from India.
Yeah.
And he's trying to give them a job.
Yeah.
And he's trying to give them at least minimum wage.
Yeah.
To do what they're doing. And they're happy and more than willing to do it because they have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
But then there's some people who want to rip them off and only give them like $5.
Yeah, that's fucked.
And it's like, how is that fair? They're trying to make a life for themselves. You have $20 more than they do in their pocket. Yeah. So that's when I started to really understand, and that came with maturity and understanding that. I think a lot of it goes hand in hand as well. So my aunt said this to me. She said she was so impressed with me because she said, you, Alysha, will pay to take care of yourself. Lately, not so much, but I always have in the past. My aunts and stuff, because they learned from my grandma, they would do their own pedicures at home, do their own nails, because they're like, why would we spend money on doing this? Or like, facials at home. Me, I'll go get my nails done, so will you. I'll go get a massage, so will you. We'll do anything self-care. We work hard, so why wouldn't we treat ourselves? Yeah. Like getting our hair done or like a facial done. And she's like, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Excuse me, if you can afford to, why wouldn't you? And that also comes with that cheapness of not even, we would rather put ourselves at a disadvantage, even to ourselves, and be like, oh, I'm not going to do this for me because it's going to cost me a dime.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, and there are situations where people can afford it, but if you can, then it's like, I don't know. It's like, why be cheap about it? But I definitely am on the same page as you that, like, I became more self-aware as, like, obviously, me, my brother, and my sister-in-law were all, employed, right? We never had side businesses at a point, so we didn't kind of understand that aspect either. But now that we all, like, my brother and sister-in-law's side hustle is their main hustle now.
Yeah.
And now that we all kind of have this business minded, we get it. We're like, no, don't fucking negotiate. If they gave you a price and then they come to your house, don't try to negotiate. They made their way to your house. And, after you have agreed to the price, like, do not try to cheap out. So we had to, like, kind of tell my dad this too, because my dad was still doing it. And we told him, we're like, no, like, you might be thinking that they're ripping you off, but you're not understanding that after, like, labor and after cost of material, they still need to make money too. And you need to understand that they still need to make a profit at the end of the day. It might not be your favorite kind of profit, but, they still need to make a profit, and that's, don't negotiate.
Reality of life.
So now my dad is, like, kind of better, so he won't, like, negotiate with anybody and stuff like that. And I think having a business definitely made me better with that too. I'm like, give them the extra $10 tip, or, just allow them and stuff like that, because now we are understanding to how much time and work goes on.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, so I mean, yeah, another stereotype that you mentioned is like, oh, Indians like smell and stuff like that. Yeah, bitch, because I actually have spices in my food.
Yeah.
My food's actually flavorful.
Yeah, exactly. And so here's an example. The amount of times I heard that. So my dad cooks, okay? So in both his kitchens that he sold in the last 2 houses, he had full, like, kitchens, okay?
Yeah.
White kitchens, whatever. When people came to see our home, they were like, do you even cook here? And my dad makes it all, from Indian to whatever. And they're like, do you cook in the basement or the garage? My dad's like, no, I cook here, but I also know how to clean.
Yeah.
And they were shocked, Raman. So
they just expected the kitchen to be dirty.
Yeah, like curry or something stains.
Yeah.
Because me and Emma went to go see a house in Oakville.
Yeah.
It was owned by Indians, and the reason I knew this was because I saw curry lines all over the stove backsplash.
Oh, true. So yeah, but like, our parents are like super clean freaks.
Yeah, our parents are.
My mom, like every 2 weeks, like the cabinets by the stove and then like the top, they literally clean it so there's no stains on it.
Oh,
so
my dad too, because like it's that stereotype, right? Yeah. But it's like not all families are like that. Yeah. Like you and I come from families that are crazy about cleaning.
Yeah, and so what? You know, when you are in school, yeah, people do bring Indian food for lunch, and yeah, it might like have a smell, but you know what? So does fucking other food and stuff like that. Or maybe
that's all that child can afford. Like, you know, and that's so unfortunate because when I was growing up, roti was not like something I saw a lot of kids eating at the table. Mind you, there was a lot of brown kids, but they were eating sandwiches, cheese sandwiches. Yeah. I didn't eat roti either growing up. Yeah. Nor do I have a shonk for it. Sometimes I'll have a roti once in a blue moon, but I don't really care for it. But I like some other Indian things. But I remember there was this one little girl. She had her tiffin box. Aww. And she used to bring her roti rolled up. Yeah. And I think it was like grade 1 or grade 2, and I don't know why I remember this, but I think someone made fun of her. Mm-hmm. And I felt bad for her. And, you know, she's one of the most prettiest girls I know on Instagram today. Yeah. And it was just so unfortunate because I didn't know any better. Yeah. So from then on, she always brought her roti rolled up with the sabji in the roti. Oh. But
that's how we give it to Ranveer too, just because the kids are messy and it's just easier to eat it that way. Yeah,
but then she didn't want anyone to see what she was eating. Yeah. I felt so bad for her, you know?
Fucking kids can be so cruel.
They really can.
Like, shut the fuck up and eat your food.
I know. Like, it's like so silly. So it's so unfortunate when that kind of stuff happens, and like it's not fair because it's like if a Chinna came and ate sushi beside you, you wouldn't say anything. You'd be like, oh, what a cool lunch.
Yeah, 100%. That's really unfortunate. You know what? One day Ranveer said that, so when he likes pizza, he's obsessed with it. But he said he doesn't want pizza with toppings because it falls. Aww. And he's like it's messy to him. Yeah. And we were like, I wonder if someone said something, or does he observe other kids and he doesn't want to be like messy, so he wants to be like clean like them, but he wants to only eat cheese pizza at school because he doesn't want to be like I don't, but that's the thing. When we found out, I'm like, I wonder if someone said something, or if he just like observed that other kids are cleaner, and he wants, you know, to like kind of eat cleanly like them. I don't know what it is, but it was kind of weird because it's unfortunate. No, he said it. He's like, I don't want toppings because they fall when I eat sometimes.
Somebody said something.
Yeah, so we were just kind of like, oh, aww, okay. We're like, that's fine. Eat your cheese pizza, but
little
it was
man.
I know. So. And then another one that I always kind of heard, like obviously as being an Indian girl, is we are obviously a lot hairier
than hate that one. I hate that
other
one.
Girls. And yes, we have hair. We're hairier. You know, we need laser.
No, but you know, it's so BS because now girls want the natural eyebrows.
Yeah, now they're like trying.
They want the long hair.
Yeah. And it's like, bitch, when I had my long hair and I had my like oil in my hair, I was getting made fun of the oily hair, but it's like now you want it too.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair at all. So, you know, it's kind of unfortunate that we also do that, because what are you supposed to do? Take a 5-year-old to get lasered or threaded? Yeah. Like, come on, it's common sense, right? Yeah. It's just a different culture. Like, if you look at all our cultures, we all have mustaches. Yeah. And you just can't see
We're all a bit hairier than, you know, a bit other cultures, but that's okay. God gave us, like, wonderful thick hair.
No, it's just because we can see it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? That's the thing, because of our skin color, you can see it more.
Yeah. But it was just annoying. Like, you know, it always like, and it was always a shitty thing because you're always just like, oh, why am I so hair? Yeah, self-conscious. You're just always like, oh, why am I so much hairier? But you know what? That is a stereotype because like, not everyone is hairy. And I have met a lot of girls that are not hairy at all. And if I compare even my hair level to like Sister Karen's hair level, they're like day and night, you know?
Yeah,
so
me and you are.
It's not everybody.
Like,
but
laser worked right away for you.
I know, bless laser, honestly. Yeah. But even before that, I didn't have too much hair on my skin. Like, it was never been like super thick, but I still got the stereotype that like, you know, I must be hairy because I'm Indian. Yeah. And then you know what's crazy? I thought I was, because people thought that Indians are hairy, I thought I was hairier until I met people hairier than me.
But I believe that.
And then I was like, oh, I actually was not that bad.
No, you weren't.
Like, why was I growing up thinking that, like,
See,
you know?
self-consciousness when we don't need that, when we're just trying to be a kid.
Yeah. Have you seen those TikToks where it's like, oh, but you don't look Indian? And then it's like, oh, well, how am I supposed to look like? And then they show like the clip of like the person with the turban and the dancing and stuff. And it's like, oh, is this how you like picture Indians to all look like and be? Yeah. And no, we're not all like that. Like, you know, people like culture. I mean, the thing is like with our Indian culture, it's like very cultural.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, we're also westernized that, you know, we all kind of follow not everything. Like, I don't follow everything, like part of my culture. I feel like I follow parts of it, but you know, when
the
people
stuff
hear
you believe in.
Yeah, when people hear Indian, it's just like, oh, arranged marriages.
They sing Punjabi MCs playing.
Punjabi MC. Why can't they find a different song?
Yeah, why is that song always gonna play at every fucking club?
Yeah, like come on, people. There are different fucking songs. Like, and I feel like that song is like the most typical, stereotypical fucking song that represents Punjabi people and Indian people.
But it's not.
It's not. It's fucking old.
I know.
Like, move on. We've
moved on.
We've moved on.
We got better music. Yeah, we have better music now.
Yeah, like please listen to like the better music. Okay, Alysha, so sorry. I'm going back to food because I just remembered something. I hate when people say I don't like Indian food.
Oh, but I say that to you all the time.
Yeah, but that's the most ignorant thing to say because India is a country of so many cultures and religions. You saying you hate Indian food is like saying you hate food of like multiple ethnicities and cultures. Like, how can you say that? And I think this is where ignorance comes in because you can say like, oh, I hate Punjabi food. I hate, you know, certain type of food, but there's no such thing as like just Indian food. There's so many types of Indian food. There's Punjabi food, there's Gujarati food, there's South Indian food, there's dosas, there's, you know, Tamil food. There's all these foods come from India, and then there's so much more that we don't even know about.
Okay, so hold on.
I think people associate Indian food to like just spice, like white people.
100%.
Like,
you're right.
I hate spicy food.
But okay, so when I say I hate Indian food, I don't mean I actually hate Indian food. I just mean it's not my preference of when I'm going out that I'm craving Indian food.
Yeah.
I don't crave Indian food. Second of all, you're 100% right because, and this is the other thing, Greek food, Italian, okay, not Greek, Italian, Greek food, Egyptian food, Iranian food, shawarma.
Mm-hmm. But even like Middle Eastern foods.
It's all from Indian spices. Jamaican food. Look, we went to Jamaica. Jerk chicken. There was curry. Mexican food. They all got the spices from
India. Woo! And it's just so fucking ignorant of I'll just say it, of white people. When they say like, oh, I don't eat Indian food. Okay, what type of Indian food do you not eat? Are you literally telling me that you don't like all of India's foods? Like, do you even know how much food India has and how many different cultures it has? Like, your country probably has like maybe one type of food and it's pasta and pizza. But I'm sorry, but India has so much variety of culture and, you know, just so much different variety of food that how can you say you hate all of fucking India's food? Really?
It's true.
Really? Because I know fucking lots of food that is not spicy and is Indian food. So what the fuck? You can say you hate spicy food, but how are you gonna say I hate Indian food? I know fucking butter chicken that's not spicy. They're not all fucking just butter chicken and rice. That's
to
all.
you,
that's
is
all.
In your world.
That's all. I was just angry. I get angry when people are like, I don't like Indian food. I'm like, okay.
Rant over?
It's like when people like, yeah, I guess rant over.
She's like, fine.
Fine.
Okay, can we talk about the fact that everyone assumes India is like $1 million?
Slumdog Millionaire?
Yeah, there we go. Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah, 100%.
Just because that movie came out, yes, great perception of kind of what India is.
The slums of India.
Yeah. Slums of India.
Yeah.
But there are beautiful parts of India as well, like Goa and like the Himalayan mountains. Mm-hmm. There is like Jaipur. There's like so many Kashmir. Yeah. There's like freaking Punjab. Like there's just so many gorgeous places that don't actually look like that place in Mumbai.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. After that movie came out, that was such a huge hypocritical stereotype that came out that all of India looks like the slums.
Yeah.
Which is not true.
And that's kind of how, because I guess that movie was more like in the Hollywood. It definitely kind of made people think this is how India looks like.
Yeah. And then all Indian people are good at becoming an engineer or IT person.
Yeah.
Third calling party services.
Yeah. We know there's a lot of like call centers that are in India and the IT centers, but we're not all good at IT. Look at me and Alysha, we suck.
We suck at IT. I can tell you guys that.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like the IT, all Indians are like IT and stuff like that, or, you know, call centers and stuff like that. You know what it is? Okay, so I think I've seen this at my previous workplace where a lot of places would just assume that, like, oh, the call center is in India. Or, like, yeah, I don't know about you, but, like, I've seen that before. And when I actually found out, the call center was, like, in Texas or something. And I was like, they weren't even in India just because it was in India. You know what? For the longest time, I think, okay, because I'm in Canada and the rest of my US team is obviously in the US. And my name's Raman. And, like, the team that we had before I was there was in India. So they were there and they, like, whatever, canceled their service with them. So I legit think they thought that I was in India, right? And then one day someone said something and I was like, I'm in Canada. Like I'm just on the other side, but I'm in Canada. Like, I'm not in India. I think they just, like, assumed because I was Indian and I was, like, you know, I don't know, doing their math or something. Another stereotype is that all Indians are good at math. We're not good at that either.
I have another one. What? I'm definitely not good at math.
Yeah, neither am I.
Ready?
Yeah.
And we do payroll, guys.
Yeah.
Ready? All brown people have a brown name.
Yeah?
Do you know how many times I've been asked what's my real name?
Yeah. I feel like we're slowly moving away from that.
No.
No?
No.
I know so many people that are naming their children, like, white names.
Okay, so my name is a white name, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But because my skin color is brown, they still fuck it up and call it Aisha or Alicia or Alicia.
They're like, it's probably not Alysha.
Right.
Where's the silent, like, F or something?
Yeah. Felicia.
F for fuck you.
Ha ha ha.
No, I mean, you say fuck you.
Oh, yeah, true. This is... Yeah.
What?
Nothing.
Yeah, definitely. There's so many stereotypes between Indians, but I think there's a lot of stereotypes in all cultures. And, you know, also, sorry, just another one is, like, that Indians speak, like, fluent Hindi.
Like if you came from India.
Yeah. Speak fluent Hindi with a heavily accent. But that's not true.
Yeah,
you know?
like you speak English.
Oh.
With an accent.
Yeah. And that's not true.
No.
Because we have met so many people from India that don't have an accent.
Yeah. And we're surprised to know they're even from India. Like, you know. So
yeah.
I
think people forget that there's still a lot of, like, you know, like the education system, I'm not going to say it's the best, but, you know, it is a lot more strict in India, and there's a lot of English schools, and people are putting their kids into English schools a lot more now.
Oh, there's so many Christian schools.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Catholic.
And I think people are putting their kids more in English school now because, like, you know, they want their kids to go abroad, or they want them to learn kind of, you know, for, like, the higher up jobs and stuff like that they need to know English for. So a lot of people in India, guys, do know how to speak English.
This is true.
Yeah.
So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to why we do not agree with the stereotypes of Indian people. I hope this was useful to you and made you laugh like it did for us, because, guys, at the end of the day, it's all stereotypes. It doesn't mean there's any truth to the life.
Yeah, and they will continue to happen.
Yeah, it will. So, if you aren't already following us, please do on Level Up with Raman and Alysha on Instagram. And if you have any questions, concerns, or tips or stories you'd like to share, email us at ramanandalysha@gmail.com.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, friends.
Bye.